I am fairly direct, and that's one of the things that I think leaders respect about me. I don't dance, and I'm not very afraid of them. He was a CEO who sat in a top floor of the building. He rarely went down to the canteen. He rarely engaged with people. So they didn't really see him. We have to work together to find something that fits on a natural basis that allows people to come across the way they need to again inspire, drive passion, create an environment of effectiveness.
It sounds like you emphasize this. The leader is never working on their own. Even if they're a solopreneur, they're working with other people. Joining me is Rita Malvone. Rita, a business performance consultant toggling between Shanghai and New York City, has spent the past 10 years helping companies and individuals get out of their own way. Her approach, dubbed the chiropractic leadership method, is one of the many topics we will surely cover today. Welcome, Rita.
Hi, Michael. Thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
What else do you do, Rita, to help people build cultures where they feel safe and empowered to bring their unique talents into everything that they do?
Oh, so many ways. If we start with a foundation a lot of the time on what psychological safety really is, and then we evaluate how people might feel, how but through third party observation, what we're seeing, what we're reading in messages, how we're watching the engagement of a leader with their team. Um, I am fairly direct, and that's one of the things that I think leaders respect about me. I don't dance, and I'm not very afraid of them. I figure they're hiring me for a reason. I'm not in their employee, so I don't have political savviness requirements to protect my career. They're hiring me to tell them what they might not see for themselves, the Johari window. So I look at a lot of these things and I guide. So I worked with the CEO for a number of years, and I we had a strong rapport because I just understood him. But I also understood where his weaknesses were. And working with him through his weaknesses, he was a CEO who sat in a top floor of the building. He rarely went down to the canteen. He rarely engaged with people. So they didn't really see him for him. Now, in his defense, he was building an organization. He had huge tasks on him, and he often was sleeping 4 or 5 hours a night. So to break that barrier, to build the human side of him, we would have leadership talks where he would be engaging in a way that people got to see the human side of him. We would organize culturally driven events, a charity run, um, a Chinese New Year event, and bring him in a more humane way so that people could see him as approachable, because he was not finding the time to go sit in the canteen most days, because for him that half hour was an opportunity of a one-on-one with somebody he needed to talk to, or a phone call to headquarters or something else while he was snarfing some food. So it was really hard for him to dedicate that time to be in the canteen when his brain was spinning. But he encouraged his other leaders, the rest of his board, to be there. Even though he couldn't, he wanted them there. So it was always finding ways to humanize him when he couldn't do it for himself. So I guess what I would, the very long answer is, there's direct ways where I can say you're really being a, a distance leader, and that's not warm and inviting. Or we create ways to create the warmth that are that's needed. We we have to work together to find something that fits on a natural basis that allows people to come across the way they need to again inspire, drive passion, create an environment of effectiveness, which is the whole goal of businesses, to be more effective than they were the day before.
This brings us back to what we were talking near the beginning of challenges in integrating all the different pieces parts. And it shows how that fractals down all the way down. It's not just integrating what I do at work, what I do at home, what I do with friends and family versus colleagues. It's integrating all the different, what do I do with my peers,
Mm-hmm.
with people above me, with people below me in the hierarchy. And in each of those, there's another fractals of 2 or 3 or more buckets that we're attempting to integrate. And it's fractals all the way down.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It does. And it comes down to how can I be as authentic as I can be in all of this? How do I spin all the plates that need to be spun at the same time without, going crazy in the process? And I think one of the things that works for a coach and works for building that trust and building that phenomenal leader, it comes from really being able to understand that person's authentic self and seeing past some of the layers and helping that authenticity come through in a way that lets them stay comfortable, but also trust others, build better rapport, create a create a space where they're part of the team, not just looking out over the team. And I think a coach can peel back those layers enough to be able to help them find where that right place sits. And I think that's where a needs analysis and spending a lot of time really understanding that person can be so powerful.
It's something else that you brought up is that I don't hear a lot. You sounds like you emphasize this is the leader is never working on their own.
No.
Even if they're a solopreneur, they're working with other people.
Hmm.
And the leader doesn't have to do everything themselves. They can, and not just that, yes, there are lots of things that aren't the leaders really to do that they could and maybe should be delegating out to other people. There's also, like in the example you gave, where in the cases where the CEO wasn't able to go down to the canteen to show that human side of himself, he still asked his peers to go down in his stead and made sure that at every event there is at least someone from the executive suite was in that room with people, showing
Yeah,
that the execs were real people and
exactly.
enjoyed and hated food just like everyone else.
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely. And it sounds so silly, but that was one of the lessons I had to learn when I was first living in China and I was here with the auto industry. I hated the canteen food, so I would go out every day. And what that meant was I wasn't engaging with my team.